very good controversial creators of life. I hope you are very well and have your good coffee ready to listen this podcast. Today, we will have a very interesting debate about the current models of education, focusing on whether or not they are the most appropriate way to implement education in today's youth. Let's welcome to ProSide Juan Pablo Salazar.
Hello everyone, it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
The pleasure is all ours. And the pair against Salome Monsalve.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm very happy to be here today.
Well, now that you have introduced yourself, let's move on to what matters to us. To begin with, what do you think about education today? Let's start with Salome.
Current education has been stagnant for some decades. If we think for a moment and make a parallel, classrooms are still a space with 30 or 40 students where they try to inject information to all equally.
Okay, interesting. Now we will listen to Juan Pablo.
For my part of the contrary, I think that education has given good results in recent years, because if it were not the case, the advances in technology and innovation would not be present in our lives.
What good argument? Regarding to Salome's, I would like to ask, what do you mean by injecting students with information?
I say that the current educational system doesn't take into account that it cannot pretend that all young people have the same learning pace. That is, it doesn't take into account that we are all different and that implementing a single method for a totality is something that can stagnate the process.
This is a very significant point of view. Now, Juan Pablo, we'd like to hear what do you have say in the face of this.
I think she is just focusing on the difficulties involved in good education. Remember that Aristotle said that roots of education are bitter, but the fruit of sweet, so we should not see as obstacles as something negative in education.
Alright, now let's move on the next question. Do you think that allowing students to spend more time what they are good at within an institution will help us have better professionals?
Yes, I believe that giving young people the opportunity to learn their skills, which will be implemented in the service of their professional later on, would help them form better professionals, more efficient, and with a more qualified service.
Excellent. Juan Pablo, the word is yours.
I think she is just focusing on the difficulties involved in good education. Remember that Aristotle said that roots of education are bitter, but the fruit of sweet, so we should not see as obstacles as something negative in education.
I don't know about you, but I found the debate very interesting. Unfortunately, I have to leave, but I will leave my good colleague, Jacobo Roman, in church.
Hello Paulo, hello Salome. My name is Jacob and I will continue to lead the debate. So the next question will be, what do you think about educationism? Salome, let's start with you.
I must say that educationism is a negative consequence of current education. This is a clear example that current education system don't directly constitution and access to better opportunities for all regardless of their situation or social position. but rather a factor that increases the gap even more.
Don't agree with that truth in this consequence of directly to education, because although it is true that this problem is seen in this sector, it is the main task of the government to guarantee equal opportunities, and therefore the educational methodology shouldn't not be to blame for educationism.
Both opinions are quite interesting, but I would like to know what would say Salome to Jean Paul to change his thinking and vice versa.
I think that Mr. Juan Pablo should look beyond and understand that the education system must evolve. We have been receiving classes in the same way for a long time, and young people need a new motivation to move forward.
I will tell her to consider looking more closely at education outcomes and try to take into account the other factors that are often misleading.
Today's podcast is about to conclude. We thank our guests for their participation and we hope that you enjoyed this good debate at home. By way of conclusion, I would like to say that while it is true that the current education system has much to rescue, it will not hurt a number of changes that encourage and motivate learning process in young people.